This is a meeting between the Village Board of Trustees and the Canton Town Board. It's a joint meeting. We're using Zoom because of the continuing executive orders by the governor's office. There are a couple of there is one change to our agenda. The chamber discussion will be tabled. The chamber's requested to be on the town's agenda on Thursday. So we're going to let them meet with the town, see what they have to say. We have also added the chamber discussion to our meeting, the village meeting, that will occur on the 18th.
Yeah.
And because they're separate budgets and really a separate conversation, we decided to go in this direction. So that item is being tabled. That's number 5. The supervisor and I have discussed the recent emergency declaration that the county issued. We just wanted to let everyone know that we're staying abreast of that situation, and we are going to pay careful attention to any direction that comes out of this. I didn't see any direction other than they wanted to make sure that we're paying close attention to the uptick in COVID in our community. The school district also was involved in a conversation with BOCES, and at this point in time, the school is not closing. I think Franklin County within the next few days will be closing down and not coming back to learning, face-to-face learning until probably Christmas. But that's an evolving situation up there. I think that Mary Ann, I don't know if you want to add something to this. We're very concerned about where this is going. We're going to pay very close attention to what direction we get from the county, if any. They have a meeting tonight, and we'll see what results in that. Mary Ann, anything you want to add?
I find it unfortunate that the cases are going up, and I would just encourage the public and everyone to please follow the guidelines, wear a mask. We need to protect one another. It's a little nerve-wracking that, the county did declare. And as the mayor and I spoke earlier, it's our hope that we don't have to go backwards. So we're monitoring it closely, and we have direct contact with the county, and it's a day-by-day thing. So I would just encourage everybody to please be safe and follow the guidelines.
Thanks, Mary Ann. So with that being said, the first item on the agenda is recreation. Again, our discussions on recreation, I just want to preface with our focus is on how the school district reacts to COVID and if they have to shut down. And it's our intention to follow the lead of the school district. If they find it necessary to close down, the ice arena will be shut down for a period of time. So we're in close contact with the school district over this, and we're going to continue to do that. So topic is recreation and how we move forward in recreation. I think that was the intention of this discussion as a joint meeting. The rec committee has been speaking amongst themselves quite a bit. Who would like to take a lead on the conversation?
I'll start off and then ask everyone to pitch in. I think everybody knows the rec committee is Beth and me for the village and Tim and Karen for the town. At present, Marty Miller, our new superintendent, is taking direct supervision of the staff there, at least on an interim basis until we figure out direction for the program. Things did open smoothly and safely. We worked closely with the Canton Minor Hockey and Figure Skating Club. Things have gone really well. They've worked really hard on that. We appreciate that. Our staff have we have two full-time employees working there at the rink, and then 3 part-time, 3 part-time rink assistants who are all doing a great job. You know, I don't want to say too much about what we might do moving forward, because with the numbers looking the way they are, we're happy to be holding safe and steady as we are now. So our goal was to get the rink up and going safely, and we did that. So now it's time to look forward. I don't need to probably bring you up to too much speed on the fact that there have been a lot of changes in recreation over the last several years. And when the most recent director resigned, we decided to take a step back, and rather than immediately searching for a new director, to really look at the structure and the function of the rec department and the rec program, and decide what are our best strategies for moving forward, both financially for the village and town, for taxpayer investment on the programs, but also for what we're providing for our community, what is out there, what is needed, what people are looking for. So what we would like to do, what we're planning to do, is just take rather than it just being the recreation committee taking a look at this, we're going to invite participation into this discussion. We'll be looking at issues related to staffing, facilities, programming, and resources, and establishing a general philosophy and direction. Since we can't have what we would usually have in this situation, big meetings in the high school cafeteria to get everybody's ideas, and meetings at the rink and all, what we've decided we're going to do is put together a working group of representatives from various stakeholders groups, rink users, Taylor Park users, people who consider themselves stakeholders in the recreation program. We will invite people with whom we work. We'll invite nominations to the group. We'll invite volunteers. We will be posting a Google form on the website this evening, assuming this passes muster with the 2 boards, so that people can either volunteer or nominate others to serve on this committee. We'll need to be careful that it not get to be too big, so that it's manageable. So, you know, we'll need to be sure we have sort of even representation, not too much weight for one group. So there will be some discernment in putting the group together, but hopefully we can accommodate as many people as really want to be involved. We'll hold regular meetings of that group, and we'll have to wait and see what we're able to do in terms of larger group meetings. What we may do is ask those advisory group members themselves to hold smaller sort of focus groups and stakeholder meetings of their own to gather input, and we'll also gather input from them on the process. We'll figure out what people think is the best way to go forward, whether we're talking surveys or just focus groups and meetings, we'll see. So our idea is to get this going by the end of this month, have a meeting or 2 before the end of the year. When we know things will get busy, we'd like to have our group constituted by Monday, November 23rd. So all volunteer forms will need to be filled out before that, and then get going. And certainly we'd like to have some sort of structure and direction in time for the village to begin thinking about budgeting for next year, and also for us to begin thinking about programming and planning for the summer months. So what I guess we're sharing with the boards is that is our direction for getting input from people. We will report back to the boards, get input from the boards, and count on sort of our general public, the recreation loving public, to let us know. The idea is to talk about who's doing what already, what gaps we have to fill, but what people are looking for. So I would open it up now, I guess, to Beth and Tim and Karen, if I missed anything or anything you want to add.
I'll jump in. Thank you, Carol. I think you covered it very well. Just to kind of reemphasize a couple of the points. In our discussions, we bounced around a couple ideas on kind of how to proceed. It seems, especially given the situation we're in, it seems difficult to just kind of have, us as a small group in the recreation committee kind of be the entity that's doing this and try and get input. We thought we'd be more effective, it's almost, and really necessary in the situation to have some stakeholders as part of the actual working group that's going to help guide us forward. So I know many of us have heard from various community members who have expressed interest in the future of the recreation program. So this is the time for those individuals to come forward and step up and participate. Everything's on the table. We've had a lot of discussions within our group about some various other models that are in use in other communities in terms of who actually manages what. The facilities might be managed one way by one of the municipalities, but the programming may be managed in a completely separate fashion by some independent contractor or whatever. So all that stuff needs to be on the table for us to figure out how to get the most bang for our buck here. We are in the process of doing some budget analysis to kind of look at the recreation budget as it's existed in the past, in a little different way than it's typically been presented, so that we can more directly correlate the dollars to the actual programs and facilities impacts. The way it is now, it's kind of broken up a little bit in terms of personnel and staffing, and it's hard to say how much of that is pavilion, how much of that is Taylor Park, how much of this other stuff. So Sally's done some work on that, and we got a little more analysis to do on there before we're quite ready to present that, which will obviously go to the members of both boards, but be a jumping off point for our working group.
I would just add that this could be really an exciting time to be creative. And I would encourage people who are interested, or if we all know people who we think would be, good in terms of, giving some of their time to help us, be creative thinkers and come up with, different kinds of solutions, that this is the time to make that happen. So I would just use this opportunity to encourage people to recruit for this working group. So thank you.
Thank you, everyone. I just wanted to note that I think that inviting community members to be on this working group will add value to the discussion, and will likely bring things to the discussion that the four of us may not be thinking about. So I'm really excited and encouraged that this path that we're taking is going to lead to a lot of good outcomes.
Does anybody have any questions for the group? Comments, concerns?
We have a little sort of a statement of our reimagining Canton Recreation statement that I will share at the end of this meeting with board members. Basically, it just says what I said tonight, but also includes the link to share with people to sign up. And I will share that as well with Ellis and with Adam. And hopefully we can get some, Ellis and Adam, I think any of us would be happy to talk to you, but I think really what's been said tonight, and what's included in this information we'd appreciate getting that out there so that we can get some traction for this invitation.
If I may, thank you. I think it sounds like a wonderful idea. And I'm always advocating for town outside, right? We have a unique town with 2 villages and 2.5 hamlets, right? And if we can get some representation from Morley and Pirates and Rensselaer Falls, to have input as well. I think that's important because they have a lot to offer as well. So I would just advocate for that.
Mm-hmm. Well, especially Marianne, I would say, they'll be getting, people in those communities will be getting the same information everyone else does. If you have any suggestions, either let us know or nudge them. That would be really great.
Okay, well, I see the mayor of Rensselaer Falls is with us tonight. So, he's got the word now.
Well,
So,
I think it's especially helpful that that your town representative on our board also represents Rensselaer Falls. So I think that's that's really essential and helpful.
Absolutely.
Anything else?
I think that does us.
Okay. Mike Hammond, nice beard. Okay, next item on our agenda is ethics. I hate to save it, but this is nothing new. But I think we're making serious progress right now. I think the village is in good shape for a committee. And I believe we have a possible neutral party that for the town and village to both agree on. Bob, you did some work on that. Anything you want to talk about? I think I believe we're in a good place right now, but.
I made a suggestion to the Ocean 4, the mayor, the supervisor, and Carol, the deputy mayor, and offered up the name of Becky Hitch as a possibility. There was some agreement amongst the four to check to see if she would be interested, and she is interested, and I shared her bio with the group, and I expect that'll be circulated by the mayor and the supervisor.
Do you have that, just as a reminder to people, if you have lost track, because we've been talking about this for so long. The way we have it written is that we have the village nominates two, the town nominates two, and the village and town together nominate a fifth. And the idea is then to convene that board, that ethics board, and then they will work with Jerry and Eric to get some of the plans moving forward for how to actually implement the ethics law that we have, created and passed together. I don't have it right in front of me. So the two for the village are Katie Halloran Murphy and Ryan Ames. And we'd be happy to give a little background on them. And Becky Hitch, I would actually like to say that I think she's a great choice. Bob, I don't know if you want to just share any of the information about her the bio that you, because I think we need to, I'd like to nominate her and vote on that tonight. Can we do that?
It seems I was hoping that would, what I shared today via email would have been shared with the board during the day so that people had some time to digest it.
Oh, I thought it got circulated. I didn't pay attention.
No, all I sent it was to you three that were part of the conversation. It
I think
didn't
the
go out
problem
to,
with that sometimes, Bob, is that not everybody's able to look at their email during the workday. So if you have it there and can read it, great. Otherwise, I can dig it out and read it.
I could do that, but I still think it's not, if I was a board member just hearing about this for the first time, the fifth person, it seems like we're pushing it all of a sudden on them. But if you want to vote without, okay, if that's how you want to do it.
Well, I have spoken with several of my board members. We don't have to, Bob. We can, whatever. You're the one whose idea it was, if you'd rather wait till next month. I guess I thought the reason that we were doing this tonight altogether was so we could do this tonight altogether.
Exactly, but it doesn't seem like the information has gotten to the boards like it probably should have. So I just wanted to acknowledge that. And I'm not necessarily comfortable just dumping stuff on people at meetings. So, but with that said, for the town representatives, we have Barb Heller and Marianne. Who do you have?
It's
Kimber.
Barb Heller and Kimber Petrie.
Right.
In a perfect world, the rest of the boards would hear about this a little earlier, but I think all the choices are excellent and I'm prepared to move forward.
Yeah. So Carol, if you could dig up her bio and want to read that, that's fine by me.
I just sent it out to the rest of our board. My apologies on that.
Yeah, and Bob, I do appreciate, I do appreciate the sentiment of voting on something that we haven't seen yet. So again, I appreciate that.
Okay, would you like me to, okay, I'm just gonna read it. Even though I can't see you guys anymore. Becky moved to Canton in 2018 when her husband Steve became the Chief Financial Officer at St. Lawrence. She is currently employed by Graham Healthcare as the Director of Staff Development. In this role, she oversees the education of all home health staff in Michigan, Illinois, and Pennsylvania. Her educational background includes a BS and MS in psychology and an AD in nursing with board certification as a psychiatric mental health nurse. Previous work experience has included psychology instructor at a community college, mobile therapist, and director of residential services for an agency serving people with developmental disabilities. Becky and Steve live in the town.
I've worked with Becky on some things, and my thinking one was I'm very impressed with her, and on second, it seems like having somebody with some fresh eyes that maybe is not from Canton on the board would be helpful. I know Becky and her husband were involved in municipal government in Pennsylvania, and I think Steve was the town supervisor for Carlisle for 10 years. So they know their way around municipal government, and I think she'd be an excellent choice personally.
I agree, and I have no problem moving forward tonight. And I think since it's a joint appointment, this is obviously the forum to do that.
I'm comfortable moving forward as well.
I'm fine with it.
I happen to, now given her bio, I happen to have met her a couple times, and I think that she is stellar, so I'm okay with this. But again, you know, Bob, I do appreciate the fact that of your sentiments in terms of moving forward with a vote without having information prior to. So I'm okay with it tonight because I know the person, but I'm just going to state that.
I'm very comfortable with this appointment. I do not know Becky, but from the background, it sounds like it would be a good fit. And we have been working on this for months. So I'm looking forward to moving forward.
What I had mentioned to Becky and to the others as I spoke with them, that once we had a decision and we were going to go at the 5, there'd be a joint letter coming from the mayor and the supervisor inviting them and then basically giving them their marching orders.
It's fine with me.
So do we need a motion? Do you want to make a motion, Bob?
Sure, I'd like to make a motion to for the shared position on the town and village ethics board, and I nominate Becky Hitch.
I'd like to second that.
Carol was the second. Any further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Are there any opposed? Okay, no abstentions? Motion carries. Is there anything else to deal with on the ethics end of things? Those of you that have been working on it?
Well, I think Bob is right. I think we need to convene those 5, you know, tell them they're in, and then maybe get with, I don't know who does this. I'm happy to help, but get with Eric and Jerry and figure out a time when everybody can get together for the real marching orders.
Okay,
It'll be at, oh, excuse me,
who's talking?
Mary Ann.
Oh, okay, Mary
It'll be on our agenda to appoint Kimber and Barb this Thursday. We'll be adding it.
Great.
Okay,
Your meeting is next Wednesday, right?
We've
And-
already approved ours. We did
Oh,
that
you already did. Okay,
when we thought we were closer another time.
okay.
we're ahead of the curve. Okay. Next item on the agenda is code updates. Who asked to put this on?
Probably me. I think I probably asked for everything that's on here. I think it's important that we talk about this together because we worked on the comprehensive plan together. The comprehensive plan requires that, which is, as you will recall, we said many times, is unusual and exciting, I think. We are required then to have our code be consistent and compliant with our comprehensive plan. So in the village's case, there was a very substantial overhaul required, and for the town, I think somewhat less so. We both are contracting with the same planner who's helping us with that. And I guess I thought it would be useful for each of the boards to hear where the other one is on that, and also to just at least get out on the table for everyone the awareness that what this may require is amendments. The code adjustment may require amendments to our comprehensive plan. And if they do, that is something we will probably want to undertake together, since we developed and approved the comprehensive plan together. So that was my reason for wishing to have this on, so that the left hand isn't always doing what the left hand is doing, and the right hand what the right hand is doing, both, I think, ably and capably and fully and completely and appropriately. But it's nice to have to be able to hear what the other's doing. So I don't know, Jerry, if you want to, I don't mean to take this away from you, Mike, but Jerry, if you want to talk. Jerry and Monica have been working largely at this point with the committee on this.
I've been working with Monica primarily on the changes to the village code. I'm not sure exactly what changes she's working on for the town at this
Right,
point.
I'm in the village side.
Yeah. So she's overhauling the types of districts we have, and we're going carefully through the uses allowed in each district. We had a long meeting on October, I think it was October 19th, where she reviewed definitions, and she reviewed, we went through all the allowed uses that she had proposed, and we made some adjustments to some of those uses, including adding and subtracting a few. We, of course, have on our radar to make sure that we conform with federal law as well as any state code, and Monica's fully aware of that and making appropriate adjustments. Her plan, I think, is to have a draft ready by, I think, early December, I think, for her and me to look at, and ideally then to present to the committee, whether it's going to be later in December or in January. I think in response to a memo that went out after October 19th about the timeline, I think she's looking more into early January for the committee review again. So I think that's pretty much where we are. She's working on it right now, and I'm just waiting to get the draft so she and I can sit down together and review it and then circulate it.
Where's the town at in the process?
We're having, well, we obviously got a much later start than the village, and then COVID hit. So we're having some preliminary discussions with Monica. We've had a couple about actually how the process should actually go and what direction. So we've been working on definitions, and we pretty much have one more discussion, and then we'll be convening the meeting, or the committee, sorry, and moving forward in a more broader way, I'd say.
Does it seem like it's on the town's horizon that you might have to update some of previous documents that we worked on, or not?
We're definitely open to it. We talked about it, that it might be necessary, and that's part of the initial conundrum was, should you change the comp plan first and then change the law to support what you did, or go through the law process and then have to update the comp plan to support the laws? The laws really should be supporting the comp plan. So to change the comp plan after the law seems a little bit backwards.
Except that there is sort of an understanding that all that comp plan work was done pre-COVID and pre-looking at the world the way we're looking at it now, which there are some differences in how, I mean, I think there are differences in what we've envisioned in our comprehensive plan than might have been.
Sure, and Yeah, exactly. But the question is, do you recognize that and amend a comp plan and then write laws and codes to support that? Or do you do the code first and then have to rewrite the code to support the laws? And we're going to start working on the zoning first, because we think that's the most sensible way for the town. So I can't really comment on the village part of it, like how the law supports the plan.
Well, I think that as we started going down the path, we found that there may be some inconsistencies that we'll have to adjust for. I don't
Yeah.
think they're going to be major, but I think that we've noticed that there's a couple of inconsistencies that we should address. So.
Yeah, simple things like, sorry. Yeah, simple things like maps and such. But I mean, if there was some sort of substantive change, it was recommended that we looked at the comp plan first, but that's not the route that we're taking.
And I would just like to add that in speaking with Jeff Murray, our code enforcement officer, he has some ideas as well as what he feels needs to change, either added or taken away. And so he'll be involved with the process as well.
Well, he is on the town committee. Is Jeff on the village committee?
Yes.
Okay.
I think I saw Anna's hand go up. No? Okay. She made a move. It looked like her hand went up. Are there any other questions, concerns about where we're at? Okay, moving along.
Thanks for all the work that's being done.
A lot of things are going on behind the scenes too. Next item, number 4, is the Island Park MOU. Mary Ann had asked that that be placed on here. I think before we had started working on that MOU a little bit, gone back and forth. Jerry had some thoughts on there, and then we were waiting for, I think, the contract to come from state, right?
Yes, we've received the contract, and Eric is reviewing it. It is on our board agenda for Thursday. But what we wanted to do, Mike and I, when we were talking, is, have this on the agenda that we do need an MOU for the Island Park piece. Just for the record, the Island Park piece of the grant is, the total is $256,958, and the local match is $76,580. Excuse me. And then for the Minor Street portion of the project, it's $272,781, and the local match is $100,000. So the total grant is $529,739 with a total match of $176,580. And as we did with the BOA grant, we have an MOU with the village administering that portion. There's specific language about the finances and the reimbursement structure. So we just wanted both boards' support, that you let the mayor and I work with our 2 attorneys to get that MOU solidified, so that we can move forward. And this grant, they wanted us to sign it November 4th, so we got it in between meetings. So I think we're in good shape.
And Mary Ann, Lee is going to be involved in that as well?
I'm sorry?
Lee will be involved with that discussion as well, the MOU?
Absolutely.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. And it's work, the BOA grant is working, pretty well. We just got a reimbursement from the state from one of Lee's submissions, and it wasn't really labeled properly in our account. So we had to do some research on that, but we did get a $9,550 grant reimbursement, and that'll be forwarded to the village for the expenditures that have already been made. I think Lee might have a question for the state as to why the full amount wasn't put in or wasn't awarded to us for her first submission. So we're looking at that as well. But it seems to be working, the way we're setting it up. So I believe we just need to do the same type of structure for this grant.
The first draft of the MOU circulated between Mary Ann, myself, then on to Jerry. We were really waiting for the final documents to come because it's important that it's stated in the MOU what the village piece is. And I know Jerry was really interested that we made sure we documented that. So I think we're ready to move forward now, and it'll all be shared with everyone before anything's approved. Bob, you wanted to say something?
I was just gonna ask, the reimbursement, Marianne, that you mentioned, how much was that relative to the request?
I think it was a $15,000 request. Lee is in the meeting, yes. Lee, can you speak to that? I think it was a little over 15.
I don't remember the number, but the way that it seems that every grant that we have from the Department of State is reimbursed differently. This grant is a 90% grant with a 10% match. So the way that they reimburse is no matter what the expenses are that you submit, they will reimburse 90% of what you submit. So whether it's supposed to be match or supposed to be a portion that they pay for, they reimburse 90% and it's reconciled in the last submission. So
Thank you. I was
90%.
just curious if they were taking 20% off all reimbursements, like was.
No, we have
threatened.
no indication. I've been given I've been given no indication from the state at all on any of the grants that they're going to be reducing the award amount or withholding. I've asked, they have not, my contacts anyway have not indicated that they've been told that there will be any withholding because of budget issues.
Okay, thank you.
And as with the BOA grant, there was an opportunity for us to request an advance. And anytime the state wants to give us an advance on these grants, I think it's important that we take advantage of it. So with the BOA grant, we requested a $44,000 advance. So we had that money already to jumpstart it, which I'm going to be looking for in this contract as well. If they're willing to forward the money, I think it's important that we accept it. So that's what I need to make sure we can or can't do. And like we said, every grant is different and it's layered, and kudos to her for keeping track of all of this and helping us out with that. So the fundamental question is, do both boards support that Mike and I work with each other, with Jerry and Eric on the MOU to make sure that this happens? Is there
Yes.
Okay.
everybody good?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Appreciate that.
Any other questions about this? Okay.
Thank you.
We move on to item number 6, virtual meetings. We're having a virtual meeting. This is a discussion about doing virtual meetings after the executive orders have expired. Is that correct?
So this has come up before the Communications and Technology Committee, all of whom seem to be looking down at their desks at this moment. So I'm going to pass this off to Anna.
I missed the cue. I missed the cue to be looking down. No, I mean, I think that everyone knows that this was brought up to each of our boards separately, that we asked for $750 to purchase an Owl Pro camera speaker system so that we can test that out and see about its functionality for when we are required to begin to have in-person meetings again, but will want to be as accessible to the public and staff and everyone who may not be able to actually be in that face-to-face meeting, whether due to COVID concerns or whatnot. I think that's where we're at, is at the stage of, getting equipment, sort of testing it out in our building and seeing what will work. And then going from there. I don't know if anybody else wanted to add to that.
Well put.
Yeah, I think so. And I just think the point is that we've learned now how well this works. And I think we're all eager to be back in the same room together and know how the dynamic can improve by all being together. But moving forward, I think we hope and want to support the ability of people, as Anna said, who can't come to a meeting once we are all back together post-COVID, to be able to sure we have, we got pushed into this, but now that to be sure we have and understand the technology, we need to be able to encourage as much participation, not only of the boards and the staff, but of the public as we can.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yep.
In terms of the technology, if we have the OWL camera, will we have a projected screen or something where we can see everybody too? Those of us who are in person?
I don't think that we had necessarily gotten there, no. But that would be something for, consideration.
Okay.
I think we have to see how it functions in the spaces in the building, how it functions with the Wi-Fi, a bunch of those details, to see if this is even the right piece of technology.
Okay. Yeah, I would just be, interested if we are able to move forward to be able to see who all is in the meeting with us. So if that can be a possibility.
And
It seems like that would be relatively simple to just hook if we have a monitor down there, just hook a cable up to somebody's laptop and there you go.
I guess for me, I did talk to our justices and court clerk about the possibility of buying a very large screen through the JCAP grant. And because they may need it in the future as well, right? But I think it's important if some of you have zoomed into some of the county meetings, there is a large screen behind the chairman's desk where everybody sitting in the audience can see who is piping in through the Zoom. So, I mean, I would ask the committee to think about that, because I think it's going to be difficult for our clerks to take the record and then try to moderate. We need to think about that as well on a laptop. So I throw that out. I think, large screens are not expensive.
Right.
And I mean, a whiteboard would be beautiful, right? Because that's even more high tech, but I don't think large screens are that expensive, so.
Yeah.
And in terms of taking the record on our Zoom, everybody who logs in, we have access to everybody who's actually in a meeting too.
Right.
Just so you know.
And we do have an unused screen in the boardroom that could be relocated to the basement with probably 4 screws. We already have a video screen.
Yeah, the only problem with that, it's kind of small for that downstairs space.
Yeah, it is.
Something
Yeah.
to think about.
To start.
Anything else? Okay. The next item on our agenda is the municipal building study. Mary Ann.
Well, I just wanted to remind everybody, we had a municipal building study done October of 2019. We got the final document, and we cannot forget this. I don't think we've ever sat down as 2 boards and said, okay, these were the results. What do you think? What's our vision? What should we do? What shouldn't we do? Is there funding out there? I just read that Congresswoman Stefanik gave away, well, through the USDA, many municipalities were awarded funding for one large item or another. And our building, we need to talk about it. We need to talk about these results and move forward one way or the other. So I just wanted to remind everybody about that. We did spend a little bit of money to get it done, and I hate to have it sit on a shelf. So that's all I want to say about it. Maybe at our next joint meeting, we can talk further.
Are there any other questions that the boards have for Mary Ann about that, or any comment about that? Okay,
Mike.
yes, Anna.
I mean, maybe that's in my email somewhere, but I'm happy to take a look at something. I'm not really sure. I remember this happening sort of, and I think it was right before I joined. So if I could get whatever documents should be looked at, I will do so.
We will make sure you get a copy of the study.
Yeah, I could use one too. I would take a look at it as well.
Is it accessible electronically? I mean, can we?
Oh, we
I think
had.
we have it, I think.
Okay.
We will get it out to you again. I believe it was distributed, but if not, we'll make sure it gets out there. I think there's hard copies around, if I'm not mistaken, Mary Ann.
I have my two. I think you have two.
Yeah, but I know we got it electronically too, so.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll get something distributed to anybody that wants them to make sure you're up to speed.
Great.
Okay, I don't think I've forgotten to add anything to our agenda. There is an executive session that we need to go into. Did I forget anything for anybody? Okay. We do have an executive session. The topic of discussion is purchase or sale of real estate. And with a motion and a second and a vote, we'll go into executive session.
So moved.
Second.
Klaus, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, well, we're going to go into executive session. Those of you that aren't supposed to be here, I would expect that our attorneys will stay. Sally generally stays, at least for us, so.
I'm checking.
One
Is
more to go.
everyone okay if I remove Phyllis Howard?
Yep.
I suspect Phyllis Howard stepped away a long time ago. Okay, I think we've got everybody gone. And I will stop recording, correct?
Mhm.
Back into regular session. I don't think there's any.
I would just like to say, I think these meetings are very, very valuable. I appreciate very much meeting with the town and talking to the town. I appreciate everyone taking the time. And I hope we can keep this on a regular, doing this on our, I think we talked about trying to do it quarterly. I'd like to continue to do that.
Should we set the January meeting right now?
Sure.
I think so. Have you guys have moved to the something Thursday?
Second Thursday of the month.
And we're gonna be the third Wednesday.
So, if you guys ever get back to meeting in person, or all of us, we moved it to the Thursday because of the cleaning of the courtroom. There wasn't gonna be enough time, after court to have it cleaned for the meeting. So I'm just throwing that out there.
I know
I think
so
our idea is to stay on Wednesdays, but that's something we'll decide at our organizational meeting in December.
Yeah, that's not set in stone yet, and we'll do it in December, so.
I think the impetus for the village to move away from Mondays was to try and get the county legislators, but I don't think that's necessarily an impediment for these joint meetings to take
Yeah.
place on Mondays.
No,
Well, except that it also is, it's not only a chance for the legislators to get to our meetings, but for us to get to theirs. And
Right.
of course, they're every Monday, so,
Yep.
I mean, I'd be okay for a Monday.
So our town board meeting in January is January 14th.
Mhm.
And ours meeting's the 20th.
How about the 18th? Monday, the 18th.
When is Martin Luther King Day?
Monday, the 18th.
Yeah.
About the 25th.
Sure. That would work.
Works for me.
Good.
25th.
I might not be able to make that. I won't know until that day.
Well, then we probably shouldn't do it that day.
How about the 26th?
Works for me.
I can do the 26th.
I have to check on, we've got alumni stuff happening and I'll have to check and see if it's the 26th.
That's not good for you, Anna?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard.
Mondays and Wednesdays are gonna be better than Tuesdays, Thursdays for me.
Me too.
But that doesn't mean I couldn't. I just don't know.
How about the 27th? Wednesday, the 27th?
It's fine with me.
Works
good.
for me.
What?
Yeah, that I can make, that I can say I can do.
Are there
first.
any no's? Wednesday, the 27th at 6.
Sounds good.
Great.
We just did an instant doodle.
Yeah.
Mike, do you smell a skunk?
yep,
Uh-oh.
Great.
it's hanging out around your car, I was told.
Oh,
Okay, good. That's good to get that on.
make a motion to adjourn at 8:09.
Yeah, I need a second.
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
All
Hey, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thanks,
night,
bye,
everyone.
Have a good night.
Okay,
Good night.
good night. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Night.